Chapter 1. The Promise Under the Tree. The old banyan tree stood at the edge of the village, its roots deep and unmoving, just like their bond. A little girl in a white dress sat on a low branch, swinging her legs. "Hey! Don't climb so high!" a boy shouted below, hands ready to catch her even though she was perfectly stable. She laughed. "You're overreacting again." "I'm not. What if you fall?" She jumped down anyway, right into his arms. He stumbled back. "See? This is exactly what I meant." She grinned, her eyes bright. "But you caught me." He froze. "Of course I did." She leaned closer, voice soft. "You'll always catch me, right?" The boy looked away, ears turning red. "Yeah." A pause. Then he added quietly, "I always will." Sparkles Chapter 2. Love that needed no words. Years passed, but nothing really changed. They walked to school together, ate together, fought like enemies, protected each other like family. Everyone already knew. "They'll definitely get married," neighbors would whisper. But neither of them said it out loud. Not until that night. Under the same banyan tree, the girl stood nervously, fingers twisting. "We're getting engaged next month," she said softly. The boy looked at her. "I know." Silence. Wind rustled the leaves above them. Then suddenly, "I love you." Both spoke at the same time. They froze, then laughed. And just like that, years of unspoken feelings became real. Sparkles Chapter 3. The Accident. The sky was gray that day. She was walking along the roadside, smiling at her phone. A message from him. "Wait for me." "I'm coming." She typed back. "I miss you already." She didn't notice the car. It came out of nowhere, speeding out of control. A scream echoed. Brakes screeched. Everything slowed. Then, "Move!" A strong force slammed into her. She fell to the ground. The world spun. When she looked up, he was lying there, blood pooling beneath him. "No!" Her voice broke. She crawled toward him, hands shaking. "Wake up! Please, please wake up." His eyes fluttered open. For a moment, relief, then confusion. He looked at her like she was a stranger. "Who are you?" Chapter 4. A name he couldn't remember. The hospital room smelled of antiseptic and silence. Machines beeped softly. She stood beside his bed, fingers trembling as they hovered over his hand. "Say it again," she whispered. He looked at her, brows slightly furrowed. "Who are you?" Her heart dropped like something shattered beyond repair. Her voice cracked. She couldn't say it. "Your fiancé, your childhood love, the one you promised forever." But none of it existed in his eyes. Doctors spoke in calm voices behind her. "Selective amnesia," one said. "Rare but possible." His parents were relieved. "He remembers us," his mother cried. But she was the only one erased. Not partially, not vaguely, completely, like she had never existed. Sparkles Chapter 5. The Only Stranger. The first few days felt like a nightmare she couldn't wake from. She came every day, sat beside him, talked endlessly. "Remember the banyan tree? You used to hate math. You cried when your dog ran away." Nothing, not even a flicker. He watched her politely at first, then awkwardly, then distantly. "You're important, right?" he finally asked one day. Her eyes lit up. "Yes, I am. But I don't feel anything." Silence. The words hit harder than any slap. "I'm sorry," he added, almost uncomfortable. That was the moment she realized. To him, she wasn't forgotten. She was a stranger. Chapter 6. Holding on to nothing. She refused to give up. Love didn't disappear just because memory did, right? She brought photos, old messages, videos. "Look, this is us," she said, forcing a smile. He stared at the screen. Two people laughing, running in the rain, holding hands like the world didn't matter. He blinked. "That's me." "And me," she said softly. A pause. Then, "It doesn't feel real." Her grip tightened. "It is real." But he only looked at her with quiet confusion. Chapter 7. Cracks in hope. Days turned into weeks. Her energy faded, little by little. She still smiled, still tried, still stayed. But hope started breaking. One evening, she reached for his hand. He instinctively pulled away. The movement was small, but it was enough. "Sorry," he said quickly. "It's okay," she replied. But her hand stayed frozen in the air long after. Sparkles Chapter 8. The distance grows. He was discharged from the hospital. Life moved on. But not for her. She visited his house, helped his mother, tried to stay part of his life. But he started avoiding her. Short replies, minimal eye contact. Sometimes, he wouldn't even open the door. One day, he finally spoke clearly. "You don't have to come anymore." Her breath caught. "I want to, But I don't. Silence fell heavy between them. You're making things harder, he added quietly. Harder. Not for her. For him. Sparkles Chapter 9. The first tear he didn't see. She stopped going, but she didn't stop watching. From a distance. Across the street. Behind crowds. Anywhere he couldn't see her. One evening, rain poured heavily. She stood under a weak shelter, eyes fixed on him. He was laughing, talking, smiling, with someone else. A girl. Bright. Cheerful. Clothes. The way she used to be. Her chest tightened painfully. For the first time, she didn't call his name. She just stood there and cried. Sparkles Chapter 10. The beginning of the end. Rumors spread quickly. He's dating her. They look perfect together. They've been spending a lot of time together. Each word felt like a knife. But she still went to him. One last time. She stood in front of him, eyes red but determined. Do you really not remember me? He sighed, clearly tired. I told you already. What about this? She held out a ring. His gaze fell on it. No reaction. It's just a ring. Something inside her broke completely. I'm your fiancé, she whispered. Silence. Then, don't say things like that. His voice was cold now. It wasn't confusion anymore. It was rejection. Please, he added. Stop this. The ring slipped from her fingers and hit the ground, just like her heart. Chapter 11. The girl who took her place. The cafe was warm, too bright, too full of things that used to belong to her. She stood at the entrance, frozen. Across the room, he sat there, laughing, that same soft laugh, the one that used to be only for her. And beside him, a girl, bright eyes, easy smile, leaning close like she belonged there. Try this, the girl said, feeding him cake. He hesitated for a second, then ate it, and smiled. That smile, it used to mean everything. Now it meant nothing, because it wasn't for her anymore. Flashback. Under the banyan tree. You're not allowed to smile like that at anyone else, she had said jokingly. He smirked. Why? Because it's mine. Greedy. You love it. Yeah. Back to the present. Her chest tightened. Because now, it wasn't hers. Sparkles Chapter 12. A place she no longer belonged. She finally walked in, step by step, each one heavier than the last. He noticed her. His smile faded slightly. You again. Not her name. Not recognition. Just annoyance. I need to talk to you, she said softly. The other girl blinked. Do you know her? He shook his head. No. She's just someone who keeps bothering me. The words landed like a public execution. The cafe suddenly felt too quiet. People were watching, whispering, judging. She clenched her fists. I'm not. Please. He cut her off, voice sharp. Stop creating scenes. Scenes. That's what their love had become. A disturbance. Chapter 13. The cruelest words. She didn't leave. She couldn't. Not like this. Can I talk to you alone? She asked. He looked irritated, but the girl beside him smiled gently. It's okay, go. I'll wait. That kindness somehow hurt more. Outside, the wind was cold. She finally broke. Why are you doing this? She asked, voice shaking. You may not remember, but how can you treat me like this? He frowned. I don't understand what you want from me. I want you, she whispered. Silence. Then, you're being selfish. Her world stopped. I have a life now, he continued, cold and distant. And you're interfering in it. Interfering. Not loving. Not hurting. Just inconvenient. Sparkles Chapter 14. Begging for a memory. Her pride didn't matter anymore. Her dignity didn't matter. Nothing mattered except him. She grabbed his sleeve. Please, just try one more time. He stiffened. I don't want to. Just once, she cried. Look at me properly, please. For a moment. He did. Really looked. Her tear-filled eyes. Her trembling lips. Her broken expression. Something flickered. Something dangerous. But then, it disappeared. He pulled his arm away. I feel nothing. 3 words. Enough to destroy years of love. Sparkles Chapter 15. The final rejection. The next day, she went to see him again. But this time, it was worse. He wasn't alone. His friends were there. And so was she. The other girl. What? You again? One of them laughed. Bro, who is she? Another asked. He didn't hesitate. No one. The room went silent. Her ears rang. No one. Not love. Not past. Not memory. Nothing. Stop coming here, he said coldly. You're embarrassing yourself. Laughter followed. She stood there, humiliated, exposed, broken. And then, she smiled, a fragile, empty smile. Okay, and walked away, for the last time. Sparkles Chapter 16, Letting Go. That night, she packed her bags. Her room was full of memories, photos, letters, gifts. She looked at them quietly. Then, one by one, she put them away, not thrown, not destroyed, just hidden, like her feelings. Her mother stood at the door. Are you sure? She nodded. I need to leave, because staying was killing her. Sparkles Chapter 17, Goodbye Without a Word. At the airport, she didn't cry, not anymore. Tears had run out. Her phone buzzed. For a moment, hope, but it wasn't him. It was never him. She looked at his contact. Her finger hovered, then slowly, she deleted it, not because she stopped loving him, but because she couldn't survive loving him anymore. Flashback. You'll never leave me, right? She once asked. He smiled. Never. Liar, she whispered, and boarded the plane. Chapter 18, The Life He Never Saw. Far away, a new world began. New country, new people, new identity. She buried herself in work, studied harder than ever, worked longer than anyone, slept less than she should, because when she stopped, memories came back. And memories hurt. Flashback. Rain pouring, him holding an umbrella over her. You'll get sick. What about you? I'm fine. You're already shivering. Just stand closer. She closed her eyes and forced herself forward. Sparkles Chapter 19, Rebirth. Years passed. Pain turned into silence. Silence turned into strength. She changed. No longer fragile. No longer waiting. No longer someone who begged for love. Now, she was someone people chased, feared, respected. A woman who built herself from nothing. From heartbreak. From loss. From abandonment. Sparkles Chapter 20, The CEO Returns. 5 years later, the airport doors opened, and she stepped out, elegant, composed, untouchable. No one would recognize the girl who once cried in the rain. Her family rushed to her. Tears, laughter, warmth. She smiled softly. I'm home. But deep inside, she knew something else too. This wasn't just a return. It was a beginning. And somewhere in the same city, a man stood in the shadows, watching, waiting, regretting. Chapter 21, The First Glance After 5 years. The city hadn't changed, but she had. Glass doors slid open as she entered the corporate building, heels echoing against polished marble. Heads turned instantly, confident, cold, untouchable. Ma'am, the board is waiting, her assistant said. She nodded, calm and composed. But just as she stepped toward the elevator, she felt it. A gaze. Familiar. Heavy. Her fingers paused slightly. Then she turned. And there he was, standing across the lobby. 5 years. 5 years. And yet she recognized him instantly. He looked the same. Maybe sharper. Colder. More distant. But those eyes, still the same ones that once held her entire world. They locked eyes. Time didn't stop. It stretched. Twisted. Hurt. He walked past her, like a stranger. Not even a pause. Not even a flicker. But as he passed, his fingers tightened slightly, so subtly no one noticed. Except her. Sparkles Chapter 22, Coincidence. Or not. It happened again, and again, and again. Same cafe. Same elevator. Same parking area. Everywhere she went, he appeared. At first she ignored it. The world was small. Coincidences happened. But after the 5th time, she stopped believing in coincidences. That evening, she sat in her car, watching through the glass window of a restaurant. He sat inside, alone, not with that girl anymore. Not smiling either. Just quiet, different. Her eyes narrowed slightly. What are you doing? She murmured. Because this didn't feel random. It felt intentional. Sparkles Chapter 23, The Silent Protector. Rain poured heavily that night. She stepped out of a meeting, frustrated and exhausted. Her driver was late. The street was nearly empty. Then, a bike sped too close. Too fast. Too reckless. Before she could react, a hand pulled her back sharply. Her body collided with someone's chest. Warm. Solid. Familiar. Her breath hitched. She looked up. Him. For a moment. Neither moved. Rain soaked them both. His hand was still gripping her wrist. Too tight. Like he was afraid to let go. Then suddenly, he released her. Be careful, he said flatly. No emotion. No warmth. Just distance. And he walked away. Again. But this time, she didn't look hurt. She looked certain. Sparkles Chapter 24 Cracks in the Mask. She started watching him. Closely. Carefully. Like a hunter studying prey. Or maybe, like someone trying to confirm a miracle. At a business event, she saw him across the hall, talking to clients. Calm. Professional. Controlled. But when someone accidentally bumped into her, his head snapped toward her instantly. Too fast. Too instinctive. Too familiar. Their eyes met again. And just for a second, she saw it. That flicker. That hidden panic. Gone the next moment. But she saw it. And that was enough. Sparkles Chapter 25. The game begins. She approached him first this time. Slow steps. Confident. Dangerous. Long time, she said calmly. He looked at her. No surprise. No, he replied. We've met recently. Her lips curved slightly. Smart. Still careful with words. You've been showing up a lot. Coincidence. 5 times. Maybe you're following me. A pause. Then she smiled. Cold. Sharp. Liar. His expression didn't change, but his fingers curled slightly. Sparkles Chapter 26. Testing him. She didn't confront him directly. Not yet. Instead, she tested him. At a crowded event, she pretended to trip. Before anyone else reacted, he moved. Fast. Catching her instantly. Hands firm on her shoulders. Eyes searching her face. Are you hurt? The words slipped out naturally. Without thought. Without control. Silence fell between them. Because that wasn't how strangers spoke. She looked at him slowly. You care a lot for someone who doesn't know me yet. His hands froze. Then slowly, he stepped back. I just reacted. Instinct? She asked softly. Yes. Her smile deepened. Exactly. Chapter 27. The distance he maintains. After that, he started avoiding her again. More carefully this time. More controlled. No sudden movements. No instinctive reactions. No cracks. But that itself was suspicious. Because now, he wasn't just distant. He was trying to be distant. And that effort was louder than anything else. Sparkles Chapter 28. The direct question. She finally cornered him. Parking lot. Late night. No escape. No one's here, she said calmly. Drop the act. He looked at her. Silent. Cold. I don't know what you're talking about. She stepped closer. Look me in the eyes and say it. A pause. Then he did. I don't remember you. Perfect delivery. Perfect control. Perfect lie. Because she knew him. Better than anyone. And she knew. When he lied. Sparkles Chapter 29. Truth without words. She didn't argue. Didn't shout. Didn't expose him. Instead, she smiled. Softly. Almost gently. Fine. He blinked slightly. Unexpected. She turned away. I don't care anymore. And walked off. But her eyes were sharp. Because she had already confirmed it. He remembered. Sparkles Chapter 30. The calm before the storm. That night, he stood alone in his apartment. Lights off. City glowing outside. His hand trembled slightly. The same hand that caught her earlier. System, he muttered. A cold mechanical voice echoed in his mind. Warning. Emotional deviation detected. Target. Maintain distance. Failure will result in consequences. His jaw tightened. I know. But his eyes were full of something dangerous. Something breaking. Because after 5 years, seeing her again was destroying everything he tried to protect. Chapter 31. The voice he couldn't escape. Darkness filled his apartment. He stood still. Fists clenched. Breathing uneven. Why now? He muttered. The cold mechanical voice answered instantly. Because you are deviating. Your emotional attachment to target. Her is increasing. His jaw tightened. I followed every rule. You were instructed to sever emotional ties. You failed. His mind flashed. Her face. Her voice. Her eyes looking at him like she knew. I did it to protect her, he said lowly. A pause. Then. Correction. You did it to survive. His eyes darkened. No. For the first time, he argued back. Sparkles Chapter 32. The night of the accident. Truth revealed. Memory. Surged back like a storm. That day. That moment. The car. Her scream. His decision. He pushed her away. And then. Darkness. But before he lost consciousness. A voice. Cold. Inhuman. Host detected. Binding initiated. His body froze. Pain spread like fire. Condition. Survival exchange. Erase target. Her from your memory. He tried to resist. No. Secondary condition added. You must fall in love with another female. His heart stopped. What? Failure to comply equals target. Her death probability increases to 100%. Silence. Then, he made the choice. Take my memories. Because losing her was better than losing her life. Sparkles chapter 33. A love he was forced to fake. Back in the present, he collapsed into a chair, breathing heavily. I didn't forget. He chose to forget. Every smile, every memory, every promise. Gone. Not because he wanted it, but because he had to. And the other girl. He clenched his fists. That wasn't love. It was control. Every time he tried to resist. Pain. Every time he looked at her, his true love. The system tightened. Forced him away. Made him cold. Cruel. Heartless. Just to protect her. Sparkles chapter 34. She hears the truth. She wasn't supposed to hear it, but she did. Standing outside his door. Frozen. Every word. A knife. A revelation. A truth she never expected. Her hands trembled. So that's it? Not betrayal. Not replacement. Not forgetting. But sacrifice. Her eyes filled with tears. But they weren't soft anymore. They burned. Sparkles chapter 35. Love turns into rage. She walked in slowly. He froze. You heard. Silence. Then, a slap. Sharp. Loud. Echoing. You idiot! She whispered, voice shaking with anger. Who asked you to do that? He didn't move. I had no choice. You always have a choice. Tears streamed down her face. You decided everything alone. You hurt me, humiliated me, pushed me away. Her voice broke. And called it protection? Silence. Heavy. Painful. I suffered for 5 years, she said quietly. And you expect me to just understand? He lowered his head. No. Chapter 36. The decision to fight back. That night, she didn't cry. She didn't break. She planned. If something could control him, then it could be destroyed. System, she whispered into the darkness. No response, but she smiled slightly. Cold. Dangerous. Let's see how powerful you really are. Because she wasn't the same girl anymore. She wasn't someone who begged for love. She was someone who could take it back. Sparkles chapter 37. Breaking the rules. She tested it. Stayed close to him. Intentionally. Provoked reactions. Triggered emotions. Every time, the system reacted. Warning. Boundary violation. He would flinch. Step back. Lose control for a second. And she watched. Learning. Understanding. Finding the cracks. So it punishes emotions, she whispered. Then she smiled. Good. Because emotions were the one thing she had mastered. Sparkles chapter 38. The final confrontation. Stop this, he said, grabbing her wrist. You don't understand how dangerous it is. I understand perfectly, she replied calmly. Then she stepped closer. Too close. His breath hitched. Don't. Why? She whispered, eyes locked on his. Scared you'll remember? Pain flashed across his face. The system screamed. Critical warning. Emotional limit exceeded. He dropped to one knee, gripping his head. Leave now. No. She knelt in front of him, held his face, forced him to look at her. Look at me. Tears filled his eyes. I can't. You can. And then, she said it. Soft. Broken. Powerful. I love you. Sparkles chapter 39. System collapse. Silence. Then, everything shattered. Memories flooded back. Not forced. Not controlled. Real. Raw. Powerful. The system glitched. Error. Error. Condition overridden. Emotional link. Unbreakable. He gasped. Her name finally escaped his lips. You? Tears fell instantly. I remember everything. The system screamed one last time. Then, gone. Sparkles chapter 40. Love that never disappeared. He pulled her into his arms. Tightly. Desperately. Like he was afraid she would disappear again. I'm sorry, he whispered again and again. I'm so sorry. She didn't push him away, but she didn't hug him back immediately either. You hurt me, she said quietly. I know. I hated you. I know. A pause. Then, her arms slowly wrapped around him. But I never stopped loving you. Silence. Warm. Soft. Real. Years of pain. Gone. Not erased, but healed. Final flashback. Under the banyan tree. You'll always catch me, right? Always. Back to the present. This time, he didn't let go. Crescent moon the end.